my sexuality, which then inevitably I ended up in Tantra, and that just completely took me to a whole new level of actually understanding our potential as beings and expanding my mind and expanding my pleasure potentials that I had no idea actually existed to me. But the deeper truth of this is full body energy orgasm exists to all of us, and that is actually the first step to starting to achieve this state of being, is actually knowing that this exists to you. So there's your first step. I give you permission, go forth and have a full body energy orgasm. Because at the end of the day, your pleasure doesn't come from here, it comes from here. The sexiest thing you have is your brain, and it all comes from there. So what we have in our brain around what an orgasm means, what pleasure feels like, all of this stuff affects how you're allowing this to actually flow through and be fulfilled in your life. So if we think that pleasure is a climatic goal orgasm that we have to achieve by friction-based, then we are merely touching the tip of the iceberg of what our potential is. You can have orgasms in your heart. You can have orgasms in your third eye. You can have orgasms from breathing, because that is actually the natural state of your cells. We live in such a beautiful time where we get to start to understand and that everything is made up of energy, right? We all understand this fundamental basis in life that science has proven to us now, that everything is made up on a metaphysical level of the same stuff. It's all vibrating. And at the end of the day, this includes your beautiful sexual energy. Your sexual energy is life force, primordial energy that exists within your body. And half the time we're actually wasting this energy by just depleting it out the body and not actually doing anything with it. This is a beautiful energy that can actually be moved up your body to create healing, to create health, to create vitality, to bring nutrients to the cells in your body, to bring us back to the remembering that our full capacity as beings includes our sexuality. It includes this part, it includes feeling pleasure in life. And you gotta look at it this way. It's like, if you don't know your full pleasure potential, if you don't understand what you're capable of, and then you expect a partner to come along and give you these mind-blowing full-body orgasms that you have no idea to even achieve, you're creating an expectation that they're never going to meet. Because how is someone else supposed to know how to swim the depths of your ocean if you have no idea how to navigate those fucking waters yourself? You don't even know where they are. So it's taking self-responsibility to actually understand that this is nothing shameful. There's nothing wrong with your sexual energy. It's a beautiful part of your life, and it's time for you to reclaim it and integrate it so you can start feeling deeper pleasure in life. So you can start allowing yourself to truly be in every moment and feel the potential of pleasure, because it's a mindset thing. If you're stopping yourself from feeling pleasure in the bedroom, the reflection of that is shown in your life. What other areas of your life do you not allow yourself to truly feel good, to truly feel pleasure? That we stop ourselves because we feel shame or we have some bullshit beliefs around it. So, I'm going to give you guys 3 tips on how you can start achieving full body bliss. And the first tip I'm going to give you is your breath. Start to become aware of your breath, especially when you're in those throes of passion, whether they're by yourself or with a partner. What are you doing with your breath? Because a lot of the time we tend to get to that, you can feel the energy rising and you can feel it starting to build up here and it doesn't know where to go. And what you end up doing is you hold your breath, which makes your whole body shut down, and that energy has nowhere to move but out the body because you're pushing it and you're stopping it from actually moving. A lot of the time we are breathing just from the chest. And what that does is it gets your body in the nervous system that says, I'm about to fight a bear. And there is no way in fuck you're going to be able to relax into a full-body blissful orgasm if your body is too busy stressing that it has to fight a bear off. So this goes beyond the bedroom. If you just start to become aware of your breath in life, you'll start to realize that maybe the reason why you feel anxious sometimes, maybe the reason why you're feeling depressed or stressed and you don't know why, is because you're not using the potential of your full breath. You're actually just breathing in your chest. And that is sending literal signals to your body saying, I can't relax right now. We gotta be prepared to run. So first step, become aware of your breath and start sending it deeper. Because we also, with the breath, tend to breathe the wrong way round. So we naturally, without unconsciously, not even thinking about it, we breathe in as a society. We suck the belly in, and then we breathe out. That is actually the wrong way. We're in the wrong cycle with the breath to begin with. We actually need to deepen our breath, and we need to fill our belly, the lower belly, get this involved so that the energy has somewhere to actually move. So the breath can actually pull it up. And you want to bring that breath the other way around. You need to inhale in your belly and exhale by letting it go. So just really just start to become aware of your breath. That is the very first tip, and that is a tip in life as well. If you feel anxious at any time, if you feel stressful, just stop. Stop what you're doing, because we're so in our minds and we're not in our bodies. We're taught to be here, we're not in here, because full body energy orgasm takes embodiment. You need to be the fuck in here for it to flow. Not in here, not on a goal, not thinking, oh, I've got a climax over there, or oh, I need to use fantasy, or thinking about my fucking shopping list. We need to be in here if you want to reach those states. Which takes me to the next step, which is connected to the breath, and the second tip, which is sound. Beautiful sound. We are, as a society, so shut down here. Your throat is so intricately connected to your sexual organs. In fact, in ancient societies, this was known. They knew that the throat was a sexual organ, and you can actually climax in your throat. You can have throat ejaculation. Everyone can. And it actually is a substance called ormus that gets released when you stimulate this area. And it comes from your thyroid gland. And when the body actually includes this sexual organ, when we allow and we understand our sexuality on this level, what it does is it actually balances out your hormones. So how many people in this day and age have thyroid issues, have hormonal imbalances, have to take medication for this stuff? Because we've shut this area down, and we're not understanding the true potentiality for not only our sexuality, but the potential overall health that our understanding our sexual organ, which is the whole thing, actually offers us. So, as a society as well, we are, from children, told to be quiet, shut down. You're not allowed to make noise. If you make any sort of emotional state with your noise, keep it quiet, shut it down. We've got to bring it in, and what that actually does is it creates a block in the throat for all of us, and we're all unconsciously holding this. So when we hear someone be loud or we see someone being boisterous, we go, fuck, because we've been taught that that's wrong. And that includes with our pleasure. Most people would rather be caught burying a dead body than be heard in the states of pleasure. And it's one of those things as well that it's all about the neural pathways that we create, right? So usually when you first start touching yourself or exploring your body in different ways, you might be living at home with your parents. And so your way of getting to pleasure, because this energy is there, is by, it's got to be really quick, and we got to get this over and done with before we get caught, and we better shut the fuck up because I don't want my mum to hear me. And then most of us stay in that pattern. So we're short breathing and we're like, fuck, I'm gonna get caught. And we gotta be quiet, we gotta shut it down. And then we don't actually go beyond that. We've created this pathway, and then the body goes, okay, this is how I know how to get to pleasure. It's gotta be really anxious. And the whole body's gonna tense up. And I don't know if I even enjoy this anymore, but it's giving me a release. And I've gotta be quiet. So we've really gotta get out of that loop and start realizing that it's okay to make noise. It's okay to get involved. If anything, the more you activate this, the more the energy can physically start moving up the body. So if you bring this with your breath, you start breathing that, and then you are actually activating this area and you're encouraging your energy to move up. It's saying, hey, let's get this show on the road. Let's include this whole thing. So even if you're not really moaning at first, actually getting this activated is going to allow this to unblock. And this is a bigger reflection in your life as well, because it creates a block around actually communicating our desires. How many of us don't actually communicate to our partners in clear communication what we want in life? What do we want? What pleases us? What are our desires? We're not communicating this, and then we're not feeling fulfilled because those things aren't showing up in our lives, yet we don't even know how to fucking communicate them. So this is a bigger, deeper reflection as well of communicating our wants, communicating our needs, communicating our desires with our partners, being clear with ourselves so we actually know what our desires are, so we know what our pleasure is. Because if you've got no time for your pleasure, if you don't want to actually communicate it, you don't want to give it time or actually express it, then how the fuck is it meant to show up in your life? The amount of people who, the biggest belief that I hear the most of clients when I simply say, you know, a self-pleasure practice, taking the time to actually make the time to connect with your body is like, oh, I don't have time. And if you have a belief that you don't have time to connect with yourself for deeper states of pleasure, then don't be surprised when it's not showing up, because your belief is you don't have time, so you won't have any time. So it's about understanding that expressing what you want in life, expressing your desires, you know, your sexual energy is connected to your passion, it's connected to your purpose. It's not just about this friction-based depletion or procreation. We are conscious beings. We can use this energy to empower our lives, to empower our being, to integrate this, and to feel fucking turned on about your whole life. Not just about this one thing that we create so much shame about and we hide away and we don't express to each other, and then we're wondering why we're not having full body energy orgasms. Most of the time we're wondering why we don't even have internal orgasms, because we're not allowing ourselves to actually know that it's okay, that this is a part of life. Which brings me to my next tip. So we've got the breath going, we've got the sound going. And what you want to do with that is you want to start to move. We've all heard of a starfish, right? If you're lying there and you're not breathing, and you're not making noise, and you're not even moving, that energy has nowhere to go. If anything, half the time, like I said, your body's in stress. It's saying, it can't drop into these states of arousal that are all about letting go, surrendering, being relaxed, being in a place where you're not about over there, or you're not in your mind. You don't need that stimulation, because you're in your body and you're just allowing yourself to be present and feel good in that and not have shame attached to this energy. So using movement is so important. And once again, this is a bigger reflection on our society. If you saw someone walking down the street dancing, what's your natural reaction? You go, what the fuck are they doing? They're just moving their bodies. Like, why are we so weird about this shit? It's just a body. And your body literally holds all of that stuff you believe in your mind. So if you've got all these conditionings and programs and beliefs and blocks around what it means if you move your body, what it means if you're sexual, what it means to be in your body, it literally gets stored in the cellular memory of your muscles, and then it gets stuck there, and then you don't move, and then you wonder why you're so stiff, and you're stressed, and I can't do yoga because there's no way to fuck because I'm too stiff. So it's really about understanding, the more you actually unlock your body, the more you start to move it, you're allowing this energy to actually have pathways to move. The more you're going to unblock that stagnant energy that is keeping you from your true pleasure potential. You are capable of so much more in life, including with pleasure, including how you feel in your body. And it's time to get out here, and it's time to start being in here and feeling what's going on, so that you can access those deeper states of pleasure. Because like I said, pleasure exists within every cell of your being. So I'm gonna look at the time here because I have a special guest for you guys. So I have a beautiful man here who's actually in the same line of work, and he's I just want to put it out there that this is a man who's done a lot of this work. He's connected with his sexual energy, and he understands the pleasure potential that exists within him. And he's going to get up on stage here, and I'm going to show you, just quickly, because he's already prepared himself, I'm going to show you what it looks like when this energy starts moving through your body. And I just want to make it very clear that I'm not doing anything magical to him. I'm not just giving him this orgasm as much as I'd like to fucking wish I was. What I'm doing is I am merely holding space and guiding his energy. I'm connecting and understanding sexual energy and allowing it to move through the body so that it can create healing. This is healing and opening up the energy channels in a really fun way, in a way that allows us to feel bliss, to feel these ecstatic states of being where you can have orgasms for hours, where you don't need genital stimulation. Genital stimulation does not equal orgasm. And that's one of the first things we've got to realize. This whole thing is an orgasm. You are an orgasmic being. You are a sensual being to your very, very core. So it's starting to understand and acknowledge that there's nothing shameful about this. And I invite you to observe how you feel about this. What does this bring up in you? Do you think this is fake? Are you not even giving yourself permission to believe that what we're doing is anything even real? Because there's the first block. And it's it's truly understanding that I'm just holding space and I'm moving his energy, but you'll notice that he is breathing, he is making sound, he is moving, he is allowing his body to unlock, to let this flow, and he is out of his head and he is in his body. Alright, so I'm going to get him up on stage. So we're going to do this for about 10 minutes. We could do this for a lot longer if we wanted, and it could get a lot more R-rated, but I'm going to keep it PG for now. And so enjoy.